Okay, it's raining outside. It's Monday. So I decided to make this quick video for the guys with the 252s, especially if you have an older one. This deals with something. I was going to do the hydraulics, but I had to move the machine around to drain the hydraulics. While I was moving the machine around, I found this sloppiness, and I said, you know what? Let me tackle this right now since the machine where it is, it's on rollers, and I got a jack right here, and I can handle this. Let me turn this around so you can see it. All right, some of you have had the single stick for steering, okay? And some newer 252s came out with dual wheels. All right. The single wheel, it gets around tight axes really well. You can turn corners by unlocking a wheel, and we'll show you in a video later, or maybe somebody else can make a video about that. But the problem is this one piece right here takes a tremendous amount of stress. Now, remember, I bought this machine used just to rebuild to do this video. I noticed the color discoloration there, and I started looking at it. I said, oh, this has been repaired before. Now, when I had a tremendous amount of slop coming. First thing you want to do is, like I say, this takes a tremendous, this is what steers your machine, is this also was let me know that someone's been there before. This is a cotter pin, okay? Cotter pin goes in this bolt. So, first thing you want to do is pull your cotter pin out, use a breaker bar or a big ratchet, and I believe it is, give me a second, 1 1/8. Don't hold me to the socket sizes because some machines, I don't know. I really don't know when they change stuff around. And companies do, different suppliers. Anyway, tighten this up. All right, this sleeve tightens up around this. And then you have to, when you tighten it up, you have to tighten it up to where you get your hole lined up so you can put your cotter pin back in. Do not use the old cotter pin. Just buy yourself, Harbor Freight or whatever, buy yourself a replacement cotter pin after you tighten it up. Put the new cotter pin in, and that takes care of a lot of your slack. Now, this machine had some slop in it, and a lot of you are going to find this. Since this was repaired before, I started looking real hard at it, and in order to remove this whole piece out, there's a pin that goes through here. There's a hole right here, right? It goes through here. You're going to need a punch, like I've got punches here, or you could use an old Phillips screwdriver that you don't use anymore, grind the head smooth, make a punch yourself if you don't have it, okay? I know some of you guys are just getting tools together, don't have, like me, I can, if I don't have it, I just buy it, but not everybody's fortunate like that. So you knock this pin out, and then you place a jack underneath this part here. She starts to come out. This seems like, don't get scared. If you never repaired anything to me, please, these are all learning steps. You got a guy, like I said, that works on cars, have him come by. And you're going to find something else very important. If you go to a lawnmower repair shop, they're not wanting to touch your 252. Right? It's new to them. Maybe there might be a repair guy that worked at a rental center. Yeah, he's used to working on everything. That's the guy you want to find if you definitely can't do your repairs. Sorry, I'm making this video with one hand. It's about to fall out. There it is, fell out. All right. So the shaft is chromed. It has no grease zerks in it. All right, but there is something I found here. Let's get it over so we can hold it to look at it. This has been welded before. It was welded very sloppy to where it's uneven, so I'll grind it and flatten the surface out nice and dress it, because it had washers originally. There's one washer that goes down here and one washer that goes up here, and then the pin goes through it. All right, and that pin rides on the top here. When this is turning, it's riding on up here. It's up here and it rides on top. Well, whoever did this before didn't put this washer up top. They put both of them on the bottom, and they're very, very thin. Look how distorted they are. One, because when they cranked it down, it took the form of the well, so it went all, see how that is? The other one is over here. It was up top, and it got flattened and stretched by that pin riding up here, all right? And it damaged the top of the shaft. So I'll dress that up with the grinder. I'll dress this up with a grinder. Now, I'm not going to go to Vermeer to go pay who knows what for this, all right? So I went and got some grade 8, let me put this down, grade 8 large washers, all right? Let me find the one I've been working with. All right, so it's going to be a little larger, but the pin will be able to ride on there. In order to make this washer right here was just about a 32nd too tight. So if you don't have a die grinder, you can buy these stones very cheap and put it in a drill. I took off a little bit at a time, a little bit, just working it around. Didn't stay in one spot very long. Took me 3 or 4 different times because I didn't want to go past. All right. I'm sorry for doing this. Now I got a nice tight tolerance to go around there. This one will ride on the bottom. The other one will ride on the top. Put the pin back in. I'll show you when it's done. But I got to clean this weld up before we put it together. I've got to clean this distorted metal over here up because it's, let me show it to you a little better. Some of you guys are going to get bored with this stuff, but you see how it's damaged around? I tell you, it takes a lot of wear. So I'll flatten this, and when I grind it, I'll also go over it with a fine grit to where it's polished nice, to where this new one will be able to fit on here, nice, and then that pin will ride on here. Also, I'll put probably lithium grease in there, or whatever grease you got, a good tacky or a good green. I'll do the sleeve. I'll do it all in here and put a little there so that everything's got, friction is your enemy, okay? So, when we finish putting this together, I'll show you the end result. I told you it's not a long video, but this is an important fix for a 252, especially if you have a lot of slop in your steering. If you don't attend to that soon, it just gets worse and worse and worse. And then if this goes bad, this will have to be cut out, a new tube put in. This goes bad, same deal. Then you're looking at some major stuff. All right. So I don't want you to have to go through that. Especially a lot of you guys are buying used machines that have been through hell and back. All right. So this is just catch it before it gets too bad to where, you know, it becomes a major repair. This is all simple high school type fabrication work, right? You guys could take a grade 8 washer and do what I just did. I know you can. All right, you guys can dress this. I know you can. All right, so anyway, I'm going to sign off for a second. Let me do all this work, and the magic of YouTube land, you'll see it done, and we'll just look at it, test it. It's already getting hot out here. It's about 9 a.m. on Sunday morning. I wanted to show you the semi-completed project. The only thing that's not done to this is not painted. But I wanted to show you it back together and let you know that you can do this. And I'd said earlier to use a grinder. I used a hand grinder with a 60 grit flat pad on it. But if you don't have a grinder, I'm going to turn this around so you can see. I used a flat, let's call it bastard file, okay? And that's what I dressed when you took this washer off, that top surface down there. That's what I dressed it up with, nice and flat. Then I went over it with a nice piece of fine sandpaper. See, well, you can tell here by me moving this, there's no pressure on here. There's the pin, right? That's another thing. If you use a hand grinder, you have to watch out. You don't want to grind too much to where there's a lot of play. Okay, so underneath here, it's hard to see with the reflection, but there's that other flat washers right there that this whole system's riding on, okay? So, it turns very easy now. I don't have that bad side to side. You have a little bit of play, and it's from down here, inside the wheel where the bolt goes in. But it's very functional now. Before it was terrible. And don't forget, first do this, tighten this up a little bit, then you address that. Check yours. Yours might be fine, okay? And I will disassemble this. I will take the tire off, and I will paint that to match. And the paint I'll use, hold on, let me shut this off, get the paint. Here's what you want. It's called Gloss New Cat Yellow. There's the code number. Made by Van Sickle. Vermeer paint's very expensive. This is like $4.50 at my Tractor Supply or something. What was it? Atwood's, which is a farm supply place. This line I think is available on the internet too. All right, and it matches your color perfect because remember, we rebuilt this. That's all repainted. We rebuilt this cover. That's repainted. It all matches. So we'll disassemble that. I'll paint that. There's no need for you to see that in the video. You can do that. So remember, you're only going to take off a little bit when you're redressing that bad part that you saw in the video. And you can clean it up with a flat bastard file, a little piece of sandpaper, and you're good as go. And also, when you drop this out again, make sure to clean the inside of that shaft. I clean it out with a rag. I put a little brake cleaner in it, cleaned it up, and then you're set to go. Okay, I'm going to address that weld there, clean it up. I'll clean this up and put a new handle here. I'm not sure what handle. If anybody watching this has a alternate locking system that they like, that they put on their 252, please put it in a comment. And let me know. Good Lord, it's getting warm out there. Woo. Anyway, I want to tell you a little story time real quick. Those of you who want to hang around, if you don't want to hang out, don't hang out. Had something unusual happen to me this week, but actually it was fantastic. Went to a job site. It was a rainy day, Thursday. My son wasn't feeling well, and I went to the job, and there was a 1967 Chevelle SS 396 sitting outside. The car was fully restored. I'm in $1 million home. Landscaping company's there. The weatherman already said bad weather was coming. So I talked to the landscaper and said, man, you don't want to leave that car out there. They told me that they just got the car out of the garage. It will not run. And they were waiting for a company to come pick it up. Some specialty guy that works on old cars to pick it up on Monday. So I told them, we're talking about it. It's a stick shift car, 396. I mean, the car is just ready to be auctioned. And older cat owns it. He's not a guy that works on the cars. He just has the work done. So I said, ring the doorbell. He rings the doorbell. I said, could you give me an attempt to get the car started and pulled underneath this carport because the storm's coming, or we'll push it so if you get the keys. The lady goes, well, it just won't start. Turns over, won't start. So I said, will you give me a minute? Let me look at it. She goes, sure. Her husband just had back surgery. And I could see him through the window sitting in a chair in the living room, robe on and everything. So went out to the car, had a great guy with me, Luke Endicott. He just loved the car. So I said, do me a favor, get in the car, turn it over. I took the air cleaner off, looked in the carb. It's carbureted, okay? So normal shops, the new mechanics don't know how to work on a carbureted car. So I said, we just got to look for ignition or fuel first. He had an HEI, which is electronic distributor in it, so I knew we probably didn't have a spark problem. So I said, turn it over. He's turning it over. I'm looking down the carburetor. There's no fuel. So hold on a minute. And I went out to my truck. I had a little 2-stroke fuel with me. I poured a little bit in the carb. Said, pump it up, turn it over. Boom. Had the big block started right up. He drove it underneath the car part. I look over. The old guy just had back surgery, and he was so amazed. He got up out, come outside, introduced himself, shook my hand. His wife was so ecstatic and happy. And I said, it's just because the car has been sitting. How long has it been sitting? I think he said 4 or 5 months. I mean, he has beautiful cars. You know, you don't run the old cars. They'll lose their prime and stuff. And then while you're trying to start it, the battery will drain because you're trying to start, especially that was a big block, 396. Anyway, long story short, sometimes old technology gets lost. Everybody's going new, fuel injection, and then now fuel injection, now electric cars. So the old machinery, it's a dying art. A lot of people don't know how to work on old stuff. I grew up on it, okay? I'm gonna be 61 years old, and learning how to work on that stuff, it's really not my dad and my uncle. It's truly my brother. He's 3 years older than me, and he passed that down to me. He very meticulous and very good. And we, even now to this day, if I have a problem and I'm scratching my head, I'm tired, or he has a problem, I come over, he comes over, and bam, it's fixed, it's done. Sometimes we reinvent the wheel. All right? Anyway, love you guys. Have a blessed Sunday.